Welcome on in, everybody. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday out there. If you guys could, please subscribe to the channel. That'd be cool. Also, the Tobin and Leroy show comes at you weekdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You guys can watch us there as well. Get in on the live chat and get in on the silly sauce as well. Going to be an interesting Monday as we're all wondering, will Tua Tagovailoa show up? This is going to become, I think, the big drama story of the rest of the NFL offseason, just simply with Jared Goff getting his money and a lot of money, and Tua seemingly like the one that's going to be of big controversy because it sounds like, the Trevor Lawrence thing isn't going to be a big drama thing for them either. Jacksonville seems pretty set with him, so they'll give him the bag. So really, Tua seems like the last guy out there that I'm aware of that's going to be of any kind of drama, and we are in a downtime of NFL news. Let's be honest about it. The draft is done, free agency for the most part is done. The Dolphins have just introduced Odell Beckham Jr. Maybe there's a post-June move coming up in a few days that will get everybody a little bit giddy, but I don't think it's going to be as sexy as signing an Odell Beckham Jr. So this really is, in a lot of ways, like the last national NFL story that's of interest the rest of the way up until we get to training camp, right? I guess Dak Prescott's there as well, even though it sounds like they're going to kind of ride it out with him. They've already given him the one contract, different parts of their career, right? Like just Dak's gotten that past that one rookie deal, so it's different. It's not quite the same. They've ridden that ride for a little bit with Dak Prescott. But the report that came out on Sunday that was, put this lightly, of note, was that Tua had the audacity to reject the first deal that the Miami Dolphins offered him. Jeremy Fowler, he was on ESPN SportsCenter this morning and said that Tua had missed some OTA time. I've confirmed. And it really could depend on how negotiations are with his contract on whether he shows up there and is there full time. They have had contract talks, preliminary talks. I'm told the Dolphins have made at least one contract offer, but we know how these things go. The offer apparently was not good enough, or he'd probably be there full time. So the market is pretty set. We saw Jared Goff, $50+ million. That's going to apply to Tua and to Trevor Lawrence. But I will say, look, that report that came out from, was it Jonathan Jones of CBS, that Tua had been away from the team. There was a report that had come out from Chris Kaufman, CK Parrott from 3 yards per carry that said, Tua's really in California with his QB coach and that he has been at the team facility. He wasn't necessarily working out, but he's been at meetings. If you had heard, Odell did a sit down with Travis Wingfield, where he had said that he had met Tua the day that he had his he had his intro press conference, which was last Wednesday. So it's not like the guy has been a ghost. He's reached out to Odell Beckham. He's reached out to the rookie wide receivers. This is not a man, who may not be happy with where his contract is, because this is the biggest contract negotiation of his career. This is the one that, hey, look, you make $23 million. Everyone's going to be happy with that. Nobody would scoff at that. But this is the one that's going to set up his a man, father to a family that looks at him as really the breadwinner of the family. This is going to be the one that sets everybody up for generations, is it not? And so, this to think that there wouldn't be any drama would be a little foolish. He does have some things in a contract negotiation. Are there no question with Tua Tagovailoa? Of course not. There are questions. There are durability questions. The guy's had some pretty horrific injuries. The guy has had some scary situations in his career. All reasons on his side also why he would want to get a deal absolutely done before going and playing football once again. And then for the Dolphins standpoint, they want to know, is this the guy who's the guy? Is he the difference maker? He definitely seems like a guy who can run this coach's system as good, if not better, than most in the NFL. But he's got to go prove it. And he has some things that he still has to that he has to solidify and that he has to prove. But I do feel like a lot of this nature of this being a disgruntled Tua is probably going to be shook by the time if he gets to Monday and he's out there and people are running routes with him, and it kind of feels like this is all going to be silly from a standpoint that he's going to really make a stink. But as I said before, I don't blame him if he does. I don't blame a guy who has to get his point across in an ugly fashion if it gets him his money, because the NFL's ruthless, dude. I mean, it is a ruthless business with how they cut guys. They make you take pay cuts. They finagle your deals. All this type of stuff. You look at as much of a. Everybody doesn't seem to like the guy, but look at Russell Wilson. Probably thought that his career was all set in Denver, and that was going to be the next chapter of his career. Boom, done in 2 seasons. He's out. Ruthless, dude. And so I don't, I'm not going to hold any ill will towards the quarterback if this is a negotiation that doesn't go swimmingly. And to be fair, like with the Dolphins, with their high profile negotiations of late, they haven't gone swimmingly. Probably the most high-profile one, Gesicki, franchise tag. It was kind of awkward. Christian Wilkins obviously was as amicable as it could be, but it never got to a resolution. It was always just like, all right, we'll get to the point where we play football, and maybe that's where it gets. But there is just a different level of drama with the quarterback, and because of what he's been through before, that is just different than a defensive tackle. It is. He touches the ball every play. Him not being, if this gets to a point where he's actually gonna hold out, if it gets to a training camp, yeah, that's going to be an overwhelming distraction for the team. Does it get to that point? I highly doubt it. I don't think so. I think that he's going to be there for the things that he needs to have it look good for the franchise. I do think that he's got a lot of respect for Mike McDaniel. Tua seems like too nice of a guy that he wouldn't. McDaniel, Tua, both on the record that said he was going to be at the real OTAs. If he wasn't there to lift and he was working his ass off in another state, does that really matter? I don't know. Like if he's in California working his ass off, still reaching out to all the receivers. He says that he wants to go golf, eat with Odell Beckham Jr. Is this something that really should be of a concern? I don't know. By the way, speaking of that Odell interview, it was a great job by Travis. The fact that Mike McDaniel had Odell in the office for an hour and a half watching film as he signs him, that's goosies, dude. I don't know what to expect from Odell Beckham Jr. if he is, more, of a name and fame than he is the talent now. But even still, for a guy who hasn't had like the smoothest NFL ride with his times in New York, how things ended in Cleveland, he seems really taken with the head coach, and seems to be really excited to see what this offense can do. And so that's really, really cool. Jalen Waddle, there's some video today of Jalen Waddle that's going all over Dolphins Twitter, him running those crisp routes in a helmet. That was really cool. And then the other thing that was cool was I see Xavier Howard giving the send-off to Jalen Wright because he saw Jalen Wright wearing the number 25. And I was like, oh, man. But he closed the door, dude. He's like, the door is not open for a return. The door is not coming back for Xavier Howard. I don't feel like I've heard any Xavier Howard rumors other than people assuming that Houston is a fit because it's his hometown, but I haven't heard like anything in regards to where X is going to land. But that's another one. Like X, when it came to contract negotiations, that dude, ruthless. He's like, I'm not going to sit here and not make a stink if it gets me my contract. And by the way, he's right, because as soon as they could get out from the deal, boom, the journey was over. But he looked out for himself, and he got himself taken care of. So this is with Tua. Yeah, you got to be in these situations. You got to be a bit of a dickhead sometimes, and that's probably unnatural for him because he seems like an absolute sweetheart and has handled the team trying to replace him in the past. So this is probably going to be, if he does have to go that method, it's probably going to be something that's a little unnatural for him. That's why you change agents, hire the best agent that you can to get this deal done the way that you want it done. But you're going to have the haters like Cowherd who are like, oh, you should take less than Daniel Jones to stay with the Dolphins. It's like, what? Let's live in reality with this stuff, huh? Whether you think he, has stuff to prove or doesn't want to prove, like, you think that he deserves less than Daniel Jones? Like, that's what we all, okay. Well, I guess then he's going to probably be playing quarterback for somebody else if that's the route you really think the Dolphins are going to take. It seems crazy to me. But this is, I don't know if any of this stuff, I find it all to be unserious details right now. If he is not there on Monday, that's definitely an eyebrow raiser. Certainly if there's mini camp issues, okay. But if he does show up, the fodder that's going to be around is really just that. Because until you really get to a point where Tua is refusing to play games, he's not a big social media guy, so it's not like he's going to be like ripping the Dolphins off of his Twitter account or unfollowing somebody or any of that stuff. And quite frankly, the guy's been through worse controversies in his career. Like, the team trying to trade for somebody to replace you. The team, think about the injuries he had his rookie year. A scoundrel veteran quarterback who boohooed and cried and turned the media against him when he got his chance to start. A coach being rats off a ship of you and wanted to trade for Deshaun Watson. An owner who wanted to tamper and get Tom Brady. Serious concussion issues that left everybody wondering, should he play football anymore? Like, the contract is, I think he's going to handle all this stuff just fine. I really do. I think this is going to be neat stuff to banter about. But whatever side you're on, nothing can really be proven one way or the other the rest of the way. If you're skeptical of paying Tua, like I said, I get it. He can't really show you anything until you get to the season. But the most likely scenario is he's going to get paid, and it's not going to be a franchise ruiner. So, my mind of it is, don't you want to just root that the guy does get things figured out and that they can get over the hump and they can get through what seems like it's going to be a very manageable first half of the season and a second half of the season that they need to exercise some real demons and then hopefully can snap something that hasn't been done in 25 years for this club. But this whole fodder over the last weekend could be a whole lot of nothing once these OTAs start up.